morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good
Shalom.
morning, Mr. Hoang, CEO of NVIDIA, and good morning, Waldman, CEO and President of Mellanox. We are going to talk about this very big exit, very big deal in a few moments, but I want to start with the news from last night. And to those of you in the audience who aren't up to date, Dr. Amnon Shashua, co-founder of Mobileye, have written an official blog post last night where he states that NVIDIA has copied some recent technology by Mobileye. And he writes, I want to make this quote, he talks about Mobileye RSS technology, which was published in an academic paper in 2017, and he writes that NVIDIA has reached out to them about a collaboration in 2018, but later backed out. And then he writes, and this is an exact quote, "Imagine our surprise last week when Jensen Huang announced a first of its kind, referring to your SFF technology." And then he writes, I had an eerie feeling that we were looking in the mirror.
Really? Well, Amnon is very smart, and I have a great deal of respect for him, but he is wrong. He is mistaken in this matter. Where we agree, and I think where Amnon is right, safety for autonomous vehicles is a whole area that needs innovation. And our two approaches has one similarity. The similarity is that the car is driving with mathematics that avoids the car creating an accident. So safety is the commonality. The difference is the approach. So the two technologies are different, the two approaches are different, but the goals are the same. Now my feeling is that safety is such a great challenge for autonomous vehicles, such an important area to work on. We should open up the technology and afford a great deal of innovation and afford a great deal of new ideas to come. And it is surely not finished yet. And so there are many ideas that will emerge in the future. And we should encourage innovation, not trying to stop it. And so everybody has the same goal of safety, but there are many different ways of achieving it, and ours is different than theirs.
Okay, but this kind of formal accusation by a founder and a CEO of a company seems like a preparation for a lawsuit. Do you think this is where it's going?
Maybe. You know, companies have a lot of lawsuits, but you know, I think Amnon should focus on continue to advance the safety architectures of the cars. He's a great man. He's very, very smart, but in this matter, he's just wrong.
Okay, thank you very much for this, for clearing this out. So let's talk about the acquisition. And 2 weeks ago, NVIDIA has announced that it's going to acquire Mellanox in a deal worth $6.9 billion. The deal is yet to be finalized, but this is NVIDIA's largest acquisition to date. And just to make it clear, NVIDIA's largest acquisition before Mellanox was in 2001, a mobile chip company called Icera for $367 million. So this is a whole new ball game for you. This is a whole new preparation. You have to do stuff differently. And can you tell me what are you planning and describe the synergy between the two companies?
Well, first of all, it was very expensive. But first of all, it was very, very expensive. But Mellanox is a one of a kind. It's a great jewel of technology. It is the great craft of visionary leader Yuval and his management team, and it's a one of a kind in the industry. The competition for Mellanox was intense, and Eyal was a artful negotiator. I hope none of you ever have to negotiate against Eyal. It will be very expensive. but
I actually think you did a very good deal.
But it's more than worth it. It's more than worth it because Mellanox is a one of a kind. Our strategy is we would like to double down on data centers. This is the future of computing is heavily focused on data centers. And the data center architecture is changing very rapidly because of a new workload called artificial intelligence. And the way that data centers are going to be architected going forward, the amount of data that is traveling inside the data center is incredible, and which is the reason why Mellanox's technology is so valuable going forward. And so I think that by combining two companies who are world-class at technologies for data centers, we could create solutions that are going to be much more wonderful for customers who are building data centers. Okay. And so that we shared a common vision, and it was incredibly lucky of me to have won the privilege of taking Mellanox forward.
Eyal, how do you see the synergy between the two companies? Two very expensive companies, now we know.
No, first, I don't think they're expensive. You've seen NVIDIA appreciated very nicely after the acquisition was announced, and I think that says a lot about what the street thinks about the acquisition of Mellanox by NVIDIA. I think that NVIDIA is a great company, amazing company, a leading technology in so many fronts. And what we see NVIDIA is like the brain that does all of or most of the computation inside the data center, inside cars, inside many other applications markets. What we do is we actually bring the data in the most efficient way to the brain that can process all the data. And we think the future holds the computing infrastructure will change, so data will be the main thing, and it'll be a data-intense data center. We can bring the data to the brain the fastest, most efficient. They can do the most efficient compute, artificial intelligence, and many more things, and then we complement each other. There's no real overlap between NVIDIA and Mellanox and the technologies we have, and those two technologies now can overlap and create a very strong technology in a very competitive market.
That's a great analogy. Mellanox is the nervous system that connects to the brain. Yeah. And this nervous system is so important going forward. One of the question, the word that you use is synergy. I just want to make sure that you understand something. There are no cost synergies we're looking for. This is one of the deals when we first presented to the street. Everybody asked me, what are the cost synergies? And I said, zero. There are no cost synergies. We're going to keep every single product line. We're going to keep switches, InfiniBand, Ethernet. We're going to keep every single employee. Our two companies are complementary. There's no overlap whatsoever. So there are no cost synergies. And so when I first described that there are no cost synergies, the street was a little concerned. But there are two incredible synergies. One of them, of course, is strategic synergies. The combination now creates a really fantastic opportunity in the data center going forward. And the second is growth synergies, immediate growth synergies. Mellanox's footprint in data center and NVIDIA's footprint in data center are overlapping in some area, but there's a great deal of non-overlap. And so wherever they're very successful, we could be more successful. Wherever we're successful, they could be more successful. So there's a great deal of growth and strategic synergies, but no cost synergies at all.
Okay. And I have to ask, sitting here, I see the great chemistry between you guys. I guess you've become close over the negotiation.
He's the first person I talk to in the morning. He's the last person I talk to at night.
During the negotiation.
I don't know
during the negotiations,
it's healthy, but okay.
At night, I would say, good night, honey. And then he calls me first thing tomorrow.
So Eyal, 2 years ago, you gave an interview to Kלכליסט in which you said, I'm going to stay in Mellanox for the next 20 years. Is this still your plan, stay in Mellanox for the next 20 years?
You know, Jensen and I are talking about what's the plan for the company. We're now making the right, post-merger integration plans. And when we'll know exactly, then we'll decide.
Actually, I know the answer for that. I'm going to go ahead and offer it. I've asked Eyal to help me build Mellanox for as long as he shall live, which is a little longer than 20 years. About 50 years longer than 20 years.
That's no wonder he's scared with this kind of...
Yes.
Well, definitely.
It would be a great honor if he would stay for anybody. I mean, You know, he's one of the world's great visionary leaders. Anyone who has worked with Yale just loves working with him, and his energy is incredible. His drive is incredible. His vision is great. And it would be a great privilege and a great honor if I could work with him for as long as we shall live.
We'll definitely build it together and make a great company with Mellanox being part of NVIDIA.
Okay. I want to ask about the inside of the deal, if you will. This is, as I said, your largest acquisition to date. And NVIDIA had $7.4 billion in cash at hand by the end of last fiscal year.
And I spent $7 billion of it?
Exactly. So this is a risky move. How do you calculate your risk deciding to make such a deal?
Well, I'm hoping to make more money. And there are a lot of bankers in the room, so if I could use some money, I'm sure I could reach out to somebody. We're going to generate a lot of cash. We're going to generate a lot of cash. And the whole point of having cash is to be able to take advantage of a situation as once-in-a-lifetime situation like this. And so when the opportunity came up, I just jumped on the opportunity. And I told Yale that I was going to be the first one there, and I was going to be the last one there. Mm-hmm. And I would have the highest bid, and I did. But
because you had a bidding war for Mellanox, it was very, very popular.
Everybody wanted it.
Yeah. So
it's a treasure.
You paid more than you wanted to pay, more than you expected to pay because of this war?
Beyond imagination.
Okay, that's an honest answer.
Beyond imagination. But Mellanox deserves it. Mellanox deserves it. The company has created amazing technology. It has a great position. It has a great future. It has an amazing leadership team. They deserve it. They deserve every bit of it. And not one more bit. Every bit of that, but not one more bit.
You're glad it ended.
No, it was fantastic. I'm very, very happy with it.
It was a very good process, I think, and I think it was very. The result is amazing.
Yeah. Someday, when I want to sell something, I'm going to ask him to help me.
Well, we're going to work together for life, so he's going to always be available. As long as we shall live. Yeah. But will you consider any other acquisitions, or was it Mellanox or nothing?
I'm broke. I thought we just established I'm out of money. No, I have to save some money for a while. You know.
No, but I mean instead of Mellanox.
I'm Asian. I like to have money, and so I'm going to have to save some money for a while. No, this is a great acquisition. I'm not looking for another, and I think very, very long and hard. But I told Yale a long time ago, I just love Mellanox. The technology is fantastic. The people are fantastic. I love working with people. We use Mellanox in our data centers. We use Mellanox in our products. We use Mellanox when we create architectures for our customers. We have Mellanox all over our company. And so I love working with them. And I've loved the company from the very beginning. So.
Okay. So, Eyal, back to you for a minute. In the same interview you gave Kלכליסט 2 years ago, you said something about the local ecosystem, the Israeli ecosystem. And you said, I'm translating, of course, you said, I think it is very important to have Israeli companies that keep growing. You can always sell, but it is important to raise a generation that goes to fund startups on its own. Do you think Mellanox has done this for the Israeli ecosystem? And what do you think Mellanox's role is going to be now when it's no longer an Israeli company?
I think Mellanox is a great success, not just in the Israeli market, but international. You know, we grew to about $1.1 billion in terms of sales, $270 million profits, and a market cap of $5-point-something billion. So I think it's a great success. 3,000 employees, most of them in Israel. I think there's a constellation of things that drove us to do this transaction, which I think is very successful for Mellanox. I think also for the Israeli economy. I think both companies are now, NVIDIA will continue to invest in Israel, not just in Mellanox in Israel, but also in startups and the ecosystem that we can build here in Israel to serve the markets that NVIDIA is working and continue. And we hope to help develop more companies, more technology in Israel that then will be either part of NVIDIA or be a part of the investments hands that NVIDIA will invest here in Israel in the economy and other startups and companies.
You know, the two of us have been in the technology industry for a long time. There are very few companies, very few technologies, and very few brands that has sustained decades. And Mellanox is one of them, and it's going to continue to sustain. The brand of Mellanox is so strong all over the world, we're going to keep the Mellanox brand for years to come. And so this is, the contribution that is made here has made a real impact in computing around the world. And so I'm very, 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 very proud.
Okay. So a question for both of you. You talked about your long-term goals and the architecture for future data centers. And I want to ask you first if you have a timetable for this kind of plan that you have for the net data center. And what do you think the major changes will be on our everyday life as consumers and as users of products when this is complete?
Well, we're working together very closely already. So for example, one of the most important artificial intelligence computers made today is a product that we created called the NVIDIA DGX. It wouldn't be possible without Mellanox technology. And Mellanox has 8 networking cards inside the DGX. It's connected to incredible networking performance. It's also connected to storage. None of that is possible without Mellanox's technology, which is the reason why we're here together. The great contribution that we're making to the computer industry is with this technology, software can write software by itself. Artificial intelligence, a computer that can write its own software. And it's not possible without the massive amount of data that's moved inside this computer. And with a very fast brain, we can learn from the data to write the software. This is our contribution to the computer industry.
I'll give you a simple example of it. You know, imagine your life without Google, right? How will you search for things? How will you find things? You have to go into a library or something like this. This step function of what Google brought the world is amazing. We're now starting to build the next data center to enable the next innovations that will create what Google has created when it came out for search and stuff like this. I assume that in 5-10 years, you'll see applications that we cannot even imagine today that will help us in our everyday lives do much more faster, more efficient things, and everything will be safer. For example, autonomous driving will be enabled by technology. For example, you'll be much in a safer environment because of the technology we can develop together. And we're building the building blocks or the technology on top of with companies like Checkpoint and others will build a more secure and safer environment, and will enable the compute and storage and all that infrastructure to build all of those applications.
Okay, so I know we are out of time, and I know you guys have such a busy day, and you have to get out of here as quickly as possible. But just one last question, because we are 2 weeks before the election, and this is for Eyal. About 10% of Mellanox employees are Palestinian and Arabs, and you have been very proud of this fact, of this promoting diversity. And I want to ask you, how does it feel, both personally and professionally, to promote such diversity in the country where Mellanox is operating for 20 years?
Right.
Has been, for the last 20 years, radicalizing to the right?
So first, we're very proud, by the way, at this moment when we have soldiers on the border of Gaza, we have employees, Mellanox employees in Gaza working for Mellanox, NVIDIA very soon. I'm very proud of that. So I think it's very important that we work with our neighbors, the Palestinians we have in Rawabi, Hebron, Nablus, and Gaza. We're trying to build an ecosystem where more Israeli companies and international companies will come and build more design centers in the Palestinian territories. We think it's important. And we'll continue doing this, and I talked about this with Jensen. Jensen agrees to continue and develop our data centers in the Palestinian territories, and we hope this will create a better ecosystem for everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We're just making sure that the IDF doesn't bomb our center. We have the satellite and we have our own generator. Everything else is fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.